Exposure Radio.
Blychin Grandor am Radio Amlygiad.
Expo.
You are listening to Exposure Radio.
Put the headphones on.
Welcome to Theatre. In the Spotlight, we're here with Luke and Laurie. Today we're going to be talking about and taking a look through the world of theatre, drama and performing.
The world of performing arts is arguably one of the toughest industries to establish yourself in, so we thought we'd get the perspectives of some of the young up-and-comers. In the studio with us today, we'll be joined by James Reynolds and Vanessa Beecroft. But first, we'll be talking to Gethin Jones. Gethin, tell us a bit about yourself.
Hi, well, obviously my name's Gethin. I'm 20 and I'm a first-year student at the University of South Wales.
What is it you're studying?
Performing arts.
How are you enjoying it so far?
It's a lot of hard work, but it's worth it in the long run, I guess.
So have you always had an interest in theatre and the performing arts, or is it quite a recent thing?
I've had an interest in it since I was about 9, I think.
Okay.
I started going to Stagecoach in Shrewsbury back home when I was about 9, 10-ish. And since then, just sort of really wanted to do.
You were just telling me that you also are a musician. So what instruments do you play?
Guitar, bass and drums, and sing a bit. That's
So a jack of all trades then, so to speak.
if I was good at all of them.
What would you say is your strongest instrument?
Probably guitar.
We are now joined in the studio by our lovely guest Vanessa, who trains with the No Fit State Circus. So, Vanessa, what is it that you do?
I do a bit of everything with the circus. Mostly I do flying trapeze and aerial hoop, but I also do main circus skills, so juggling, manipulation, anything like that. Stilt walking, that's really fun. So, well, I also love acting as well. Musicals I absolutely love. One thing about circus performing, I would say, it is very, very hard to get into. Whereas circus, if somebody knows you can do something crazy on an aerial hoop or on stilts, they will want to hire you.
That was really cool, actually. So we're now joined in the studio by a scriptwriter. James, how are you?
I'm alright, thanks. Thanks for having me.
That's okay, no problem at all. So give us a very brief overview of what you do.
Well, on my course, we have to learn how to write in 4 different mediums, essentially. So we have to learn radio, theatre, film and television. And we have to kind of learn more about how to develop characters, get people interested in stories, kind of figure out what people want to listen to, want to watch, want to go and see. But of course, I was brought up reading books, and it's easier for me to write a book if you're on your own, especially if you're just 7 years old. And because my dad said he wanted to write a book, I thought, I want to be like my dad. I like doing this, so I'm going to come up with a story. I basically just ripped off the little vampire and started writing with my dad's help at first, and then I kind of just carried on, and it was absolutely atrocious. I wrote a couple of books when I was a bit younger. You know, I tried doing something. I did like a writing course because it was like, okay, I was kind of back and forth between, I want to write prose, I want to write films.
Yeah.
And I was getting to the end of sixth form. I didn't really know what I was going to do with my life. And someone passed me over this brochure for USW, and they said, oh, there's a writing course in this. And I was like, writing course, as if they can teach me anything. And I looked through it, and I thought, actually, that sounds pretty interesting. I guess I'll go along for a day. And I never even considered writing for theatre, never considered writing for radio and TV. It was always like, in my head when I was young, I was like, oh, I guess I'll write TV as a backup or something, because I'll be a rich and famous film director by any day now. I suppose one of my favourite pieces, I mean, I read back over it a little bit the other night, and it makes me cringe even a little bit now. But one of my favourites is a book which I wrote called The Last Few Seconds. And I came up with the idea when I first moved to China. And we started in English literature reading Animal Farm. And that was one of the first times that I ever really got interested in political history. I mean, I was a big fan of, like, military history. But I didn't really know anything about the Soviet Union or the Communist bloc, or even really, to an extent, the pressure of, like, the Cold War. And so I came up with this, like, very simple idea. And still, it was very much based around basically just being an action film, but in prose. But over time, I got to experimenting with like the form and the style, and trying to figure out a new way of writing, because a lot of what I was reading seemed, I didn't want to just copy what I'd been reading. I wanted to try and kind of go out and make my own style.